Hey everyone, Pocky back in. We have another great game. Hopefully it'll be helpful for learning. This time it is on Silas. Since Silas got re-added to the game and buddies came out, Silas has been one of the best heroes. Silas's buddy gives you 1 gold when you buy a ticketed minion, but his golden buddy gives you 2 gold when you buy a ticketed minion, which means every ticket is free. What you can do is go to 6 and discover a ton of 6 drops. And so in this lobby with Beast and Murlocs in, we know that tier 6 is going to be super powerful for the late game with Amalgadons and Myexnas. So we decide that that's what we're going to play. Here we take an early ticketed token. That's basically the best start you can get. And we go from there. In general, for the hero, because you have such a clear idea of what your end game is going to be and what your end goal is, most of your focus is going to be on getting your buddy on time and making sure that you play with enough tempo and strength to get you through the early game so that you can get to that late game where in a lot of situations you will be almost indomitable. Here we find 2 more tickets and a pair of tokens, and so what I wanted to do was make sure that I could go to 2, get a little bit stronger, get a Discover on tier 2, rather than tier 1, just because I know I want to level and I don't really need triples to find direction or anything like that. I'm just focused on tempo and preserving health, and actually playing on a standard curve is going to be better for us here than staying on 1 and just trying to go for triples like you normally would. We end up having a ghost in our lobby, so we just kind of play strong just to get a little bit of extra buddy meter. Not really any reason to greed here. And here we see an interesting shop. There's 2 tickets on 2 minions. We find our triple for our Tidehunter Scout or our Murloc Scout, and we're playing it, but we need to decide what we want to do with these tickets and what we want to do with this triple. I don't really want to go for a 3 here, so I'm trying to figure out how I can sort of leverage it into something better. And how I balance the fact that I'm holding a triple, albeit it is simply a 2/2 on board, but that triple Discover as well, and what I'm going to do with it. So I decide to take the tempo of the Sewer Rat, which has a ticket, play it here to hopefully win our fight, which we do end up winning the fight against Reg, partly just because we were able to go to 2 and find a little bit stronger minions. And then I wanted to freeze this ticketed Aceli because as we level here, we'll be able to use that 2 gold next turn to potentially level and buy a minion, hopefully with a ticket. That way we'll be able to discover a tier 4, a tier 5 with our triple, and do it gold efficiently. Here, again, because we're on 2, we see that we do actually have a little bit of a tempo advantage, and we are able to get a 75% win against the Lich King, and we get our buddy now. So we have a little bit of extra gold to work with as well. Here we're gonna play our buddy, level to 4 like we said, get through our double cell, which we will discover first, because we are gonna sell the Murloc. And we see a Baron. Baron is going to be the most tempo here, and so that's why we decide to take it over our other options, just with the bomb and the Sewer Rat in place, and the spawn also being an option in the shop. We see the Jug. The Jug is going to be the best stats for us that fits, because we also want to cycle through and end on this Houndmaster taunt, just to give a little bit of protection, so that we can use this Green Thumb to buff up Baron and our buddy. We know that those 2 units are units that we're probably going to want to keep around the full game, because we know we want to play into that Amalgadon Myexna sort of setup, and Baron will be useful for potential selfless plays, and our buddy will want to stay around because it affords us the option to sort of infinitely discover 6 drops. We do take an unfortunate loss against Onyxia here, taking a little bit over average damage, but it will put us back in range of the ghost, And what's really nice about that is that it gives us some flexibility to sort of get our setup ready for what we want to do later in the game. So here again, we do see a spawn, and this one does have a ticket. So we decide to grab that. With that Baron, it's going to be some good tempo. And with that extra flexibility, we're able to sort of roll for more things that we wouldn't necessarily want to settle on. We do decide to freeze the module so that we can taunt that Kaboom bot, which will provide extra protection for our Green Thumb, Baron, and Buddy to sort of scale up with this sort of avenge comp that we have going on. We see a ticketed Primal Fin, which will be free because we get 1 gold, and then we get the Discover with the Murloc on board, and we continue to roll again looking for options. We find that Green Thumb triple, and we're very, very excited. We're going to grab that Discover because it has a ticket. We're going to get a 4 drop, and so we're going to check what that 4 is. And it's going to be an Argus, which is going to be very nice to set up our spawn and again protect our units a little bit. We take the money. We're not really concerned about looking for the triple, just being able to make gold efficient plays here. So we'll module our bomb, we'll throw down our spawn, we'll taunt them, and then we'll sell through our Tide Hunter just to cash out that money while we have the opportunity, because we're very likely going to buy this rat. With that ticket, play the golden Green Thumb. We consider spawn there for a second, but the strong shot is going to be more tempo, and so we decide to just grab that because again, we know what our end goal is, and we actually want to lean towards things that can help us get into a position to be in that late game scenario rather than rushing to get to that late game scenario before we're really ready, right? We don't have the support for the Spore, things like that. You see that our Buddy and our Baron are starting to get very big due to this golden Green Thumb, and because of that we're able to level very easily because we just feel super, super strong, and we're able to just quick roll down, and yeah, we have a 92.9% chance to beat this rag here, which is amazing, and we're just going to get more and more buffs. The sewer rat's doing a lot of work in conjunction with that Baron and getting those extra buffs off, and you can see how strong those 2 units are just because we are able to focus so many buffs from the Green Thumbs on them. And then here again, we're strong. We have ourselves set up with our tickets that we can just level to 6 and get our discovers. We know that this is where we want to be. We're strong. It's pretty early. We just want to leverage this. This is another case though where we don't want to over rush into our end game. My Exna is more of what we want to have in our end game. However, we just leveled early. We're still relying on this Death Rattle comp, and so we take the Coiler to play around that rather than risk, you know, a fluke loss by being a little bit weaker by taking the Exna, even if it is more what we want in the late game, because we're going to have so many cards that we're going to have options to discover more Exnas just through our hero power and the infinite tickets once we get our golden Buddy, which we do this turn. So we're going to go ahead and play that, and we'll discover a Genie. The Genie is going to be a little bit more synergistic with our Death Rattle comp than the Foe Reaper, which might have seemed interesting, but again, just being able to have that taunt, maybe replace a sewer rat or something as an option, is really nice aspect of having the Genie. Here we can always buy every ticket because they will be free as long as we have a cycle spot on board. Deciding to take a Seafood Slinger for any potential Amalgadons, because again, that's where we are at in our head for what we can do. We decide to start cycling, getting through some of the minions in our hand that we bought that had tickets that aren't going to be on our end game board, grabbing the Jug, which will be free, cycling through some extra buffs, giving our Coiler Reborn, and then just ending on that last Coiler. Then we see this triple. We're going to quick play through some more things and triple it, making sure we get that Siphon so we can get a potential poison off. positioning not perfect, but we've gotten a lot stronger this turn. We're favored against Onyxia still. We see that she has 2 Myexnas already, one of them reborn, along with a Sephin, so this will be something that we consider later as we try and decide on our endgame board, because we either have to match or beat that board, and we know it's already going to be potent with those poisons already set up, along with that mini wolves being very strong. So we do take an unfortunate 6.7% loss here, but it's alright because we've got some scouting and we've moved into a top 3 situation. So we'll continue to just buy some free tokens, or tickets, excuse me, get some more discoveries, and then we find this crazy shop that has all tickets. We're just going to start selling and discovering stuff. Again, grabbing the seafood slinger. We've got an Amalgadon in hand. There's options. Just continuing to cycle through as fast as possible, because every ticket is going to be something that we're looking at. So getting the discovers off so that we can sort of discover in a row. The Omega Buster presents itself twice here, and with the one in the shop, we sort of recognize, okay, wow, the poison setup is super strong. We have the Barons super buffed up, and we can make this Golden Buster comp work. We grab the Deflecto. We're going to keep it because it is a shield. We've decided we've gotten enough buffs out of this Green Thumb. You know, our Barons is never going to get zapped here, and we can get some gold out of these tokens. So from here, we see that Mackerel, and we know, okay, that's something that we're going to want in our end game comp. Just buying as much as we can. Selling here is not perfect. We wanted to get through a little bit more, but we didn't have quite enough time. We were going to grab that Foe Reaper, but it's okay. We're never going to lose to this ghost here. So now we know that our direction is actually not going to be that Poison, Amalgadon, Reborn, Myexna setup, but rather a Golden Buster mech setup, because those shields are going to be able to play counter to those poisons a lot better. So we sort of shifted our goals, making sure we're not having a full hand, grabbing the Foe Reaper, because it is a mech. And again, we're just going to play into that, and we find another Mackerel. So we're very excited to see where this mech comp is going to take us. The Amalgadon is going to be a pickup just because we have the other one. We can play through some adapts here. While we have the chance, we can grab this Cyclone for free. It's a ticket. We'll adapt our Amalgadon. We play both. They don't have poison, so we decide to triple it. We have tribes down. We're going to, again, just get one more adapt, making sure we hit that poison, and another Omega Buster for kicks, because it's still potentially playable. And so here we go. We continue to look for things. That's going to be free with that Seafood Slinger and the Discovers. Unfortunately, your hand's just a bit full to get all the Discovers, but the 6-drop Discover is much more important. And we see that extra Omega Buster, and then we see that Argus in shop, and that's going to be the big important play for us. We'll play through the Seafood Slinger, goldening our own Sephin, just in case, you know, later on we want to get a few more adapts, and get our plays down, that Argus being huge just for guaranteeing those Omega Busters go off with that Baron. And you can see with our Amalgadon, which is a mech, its Divine Shield will proc our Mackerel, and yeah, we end up lethaling the Lich King right here on a low percentage chance, but we feel pretty confident against the rest of the lobby here, because we know that they were going for that poison setup, as players so often do in Beast Murloc lobbies, and so our mech setup is going to be focused on just getting shields to beat them out in that way. I'm deciding to get out of the poison. We do hesitate a little bit, just because it is, you know, a significant commitment to sell through that, but we are able to just make another Golden Sephin, and it will almost always go off if we do want to replace it. And then from here on out, we're just trying to discover more and more 6s, just to, you know, get as strong as possible, potentially golden this second Omega Buster that we have taunted here. continue to play through stuff. Again, every ticket is free, so really want to just try and maximize our value from our hero power and try and get as many 6-drop discovers as possible. Here we get another ticket in the Mithrax, so we'll cycle through that quick, and then we'll end on the module. We will think about what we want to put the module on, but we do end up deciding to put the module onto the Omega Buster because in some scenarios we decide that we want to get rid of this Amalgadon sometimes, maybe, and that shield on the Omega Buster will allow that initial shield proc to get shield on those macros and set up the infinite ping pong that will make it very, very difficult for us to lose. Again, we see that the Onyxia's focus is strictly on those poisons, but the mini buffs is pretty big, so we're going to want to keep that Amalgadon with poison around. Unfortunately here, we don't have quite enough damage to lethal the Onyxia, but we know that our setup is basically always going to win just because we have so many shields and it's so hard to play around these double mech rolls. Here we take the full Reaper, we will be able to golden it, and we do need to figure out if we are going to play anything, what we need to sell out of. The Argus being a ticket, and there's a few more, and so we decide to just bite the bullet and sell through a mech roll, figuring that okay, we can replace it, and that the faux Reaper actually is potentially better in a lot of cases against the Onyxia with those poisons and those reborn my X stunts. So we do end up tripling that Omega Buster again, finding a Seafood Slinger, which we may or may not use, but it's good to have if we find an Amalgadon, we find a Murloc with a token and figure, okay, we don't have that much time, so we're just going to grab that. We'll triple our zap to clear our hand space, and from here it's just playing as fast as possible. We know, what our last board is going to look like, and that's just going to be playing that faux Reaper. So we just continue to grab the tickets and the discovers going through here, and yeah, it starts to get close. We make sure we get that faux Reaper down, and yeah, that's going to be the game. As we go in, we realize the Onyxia already left, recognizing what we recognize as well, and that it's just going to be too hard to win. And yeah, so that was the game. I hope you guys found this educational and helpful. Silas is super strong right now, so I encourage you to try and take advantage of it while it is in this state. Yeah, and remember that the main goal is to just play strong and get to 6 so that you can really take advantage of all the free 6-drop discovers. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more content from us, always feel free to check us out on twitch.tv/PockyPlays. Thanks for watching.